Hi, I'm Nadine Curley with FamilyBaker.com. Today's topic is going to be on gardening. One of the things that most of us who like doing back to basics is having gardens and chickens. Well, today we're going to talk about my garden because I have brown thumbs. I tried to do a garden about 10 years ago in the very same spot that I'm standing, and not one plant grew. Well, a couple years ago, I decided I want to try this again. And thankfully, the Lord just ordained it that one of my customers came by and we got on the conversation of gardening right at the right time of year. And I was able to ask her some questions. And this is the result of that conversation. She told me about a site called BackToEdenFilms.com, which I highly recommended you go to. I'm not affiliated with them. I just happen to use their information, and it's all free. You get to watch this hour-and-a-half long video, and it's free, and he goes through garden tips. So I went from having not one plant to, and not really, honestly, I do not know how to do things. I get to eat all these goodies, but this has all been experiments. I've tried to do tomatoes with cages, without cages, letting them lay down, letting them sprawl, watering this amount, watering them that amount. All these different little experiments I've been doing and taking note of just to see the best things that happen. But what's exciting is that with all of it, I've been seeing lots of produce. So I have tomatoes and I have cantaloupe. I've even had people say, oh, you can't grow cantaloupe out here, you don't have a long enough season. Well, I've got cantaloupe growing, and I am so grateful to my customer for saying that. Then at church, I sat down to meet a new friend, and we're starting to chat, and she said that she was in her 4th year of doing this very same garden. I thought, how incredible our God is. So I've been able to go to her and ask her questions, and we just kind of are feeding off each other a little bit. So big kudos to her for her knowledge base. But in this garden, we've got just a big variety, and the basis of the Back to Eden garden is that there's 2 ways you can do it. You can just start with developing the ground, getting your compost going, things like that. And we're going to have subsequent videos that are going to deal with composting in your little greenhouse and the chickens. Chickens, if you can have chickens in your area. We live in Arvada, and we have a limit of 5 female fowls. So we have 5 chickens, girl hens, and they are great composters for you. They get to eat all the big leaves or the bitter leaves or the eaten leaves, and they turn around and make great eggs for us. But they also turn their coop area, which when we do our chicken video, you'll be able to look on that. They just turn that into good compost. But I was in a bit of a hurry. I wanted to try it out right away. So the first thing you're going to do is just take the spot that you want to grow. You're going to, if there's major weeds, pick them up. I did that half-heartedly. And then just cover that area with newspaper or paper bags, something like that, just to help prevent your weeds from coming through. Make that a nice thick layer, a few layers of paper bags or a little thick, layer of newspaper. And you can get newspaper at some of these recycling places for free, or go in grocery stores after Sunday when they have extras left over. Sometimes they'll give those out too. So we just did a couple weeks of building that kind of stuff up. And then we laid all of that out. Then I went to a local garden place and just bought a truckload of tea compost, and we spread that out, just so that it's basically what your compost is going to turn into. But like I said, I was just in a hurry. I wanted to try it now. And then my daughter works at a ranch, and we had gotten some aged screened manure, horse manure, and we put that all down. On top of that, and this is the best part, is that we put a very thick, like 4-inch layer of mulch. That you get for free. You just call a landscaper. They have to pay to dump their mulch unless they can find somebody who wants to take it. So all the mulch we have gotten has all been free. So the mulch, that layer of mulch, and Paul on that Back to Eden garden video, he will go through all of that. That mulch holds the moisture into the ground so that you are having a ground that the worms love to come up through and aerate for you. So it's nice soft ground. If I dig through this, it is very soft ground. If I dig in my yard, it is hard ground. And it's just that border right there where the mulch stops, that's where it happens. But the mulch will absorb a lot of the water when you're watering or when it's raining, and it's like a balancer where if it's a lot of rain, it'll absorb a lot. When the ground needs it, it will just release it. So we do water, and my daughter took care of the garden. This is mid-August, by the way. My daughter took care of the garden at the beginning of August, the end of July, beginning of August, when I was away visiting grandbabies, and she did a great job. And it was like, it was just boom, boom on it. And so I was like, okay, what did you do? Because really, we are experimenting right now. We're in an experimenting stage of this garden. And she had watered it 2 times a day for about 10 minutes. With hand, just, you know, going around each one of the plants, and then turned a soaker on for about 10 to 15 minutes twice a day. I came back and I'm thinking, I'm going to do it a little bit differently just to see. And sure enough, it liked that. So you have to experiment. You're going to do to see what things work best. When you look at the video of this garden and you're a gardener, you will probably have lots of things that you want to give me tidbits on, and I am very open to hearing it. So please leave comments below to let me know about that, those kind of things, because this is, I know nothing and I am just experimenting. My encouragement is, I know nothing, and look at this garden. I have green zucchini, yellow squash, all sorts of tomatoes, eggplants, a couple of varieties, peppers, onions, garlic, cantaloupe, strawberries, herbs, several herbs. I have parsley, or oregano, basil. I'm looking around trying to remember it all. I have this section back here. This is something I'm learning this year. Bugs. I would try to plant things in this, and it's pretty bare back there because bugs kept getting it. So this year it was like, that's my lesson. I'm trying to learn about bug prevention, and it was only over there. But then I put a different kind of crop in. I put sweet potatoes in, and the bugs didn't mess with that. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but I'm learning. I have cabbages and cauliflower and broccoli, and then something really interesting. This I call our lettuce tree. Even me, a novice gardener, I know that the lettuce is not supposed to do this. It's this nice little bunch that you pick and you go and you have your salad. Well, again, I wanted to experiment to see what would be happening. And this is called going to seed, or bolting. Usually when the weather gets pretty hot, it does that. But my friend in church had said, if I keep the roots cool, these lettuce leaves will not turn bitter. And sure enough, I have a field of them over here, more than our family can eat. I planted 10 heads of lettuce. 10 heads of lettuce would have been 10 meals, and we're done with it. Now what we do is we come out every day, we just pick what we're going to eat, wash it, and we have a salad. These are not bitter. They taste wonderful and taste great. I keep pinching off these bolts just to help encourage that to stay that way. And as you see on this side, this one, because I do want the seeds, I let that one go to seed. But every time I'm picking these leaves, lettuce leaves, they are not the bitter thing that you're expecting. So even though this is not what the norm is, again, I like experimenting, and this has actually worked and worked wonderfully for us. So our 10 heads of lettuce have provided for us as many salads as we could possibly eat. One last thing that I want to show you, if you're able to see on your screen how the mulch looks, and it looks pretty dry, doesn't it? But watch what happens when I scoot things away. I went down maybe, I'll even say an inch, I'm sure it's not even that, and you can see how black the soil is. This mulch holds the moisture into this ground so that these plants have moisture with them at all times. They have a very even and consistent level. We do water, and in Paul's video, he does talk about the fact that this holds it all in, and he talks about weeds, and he talks about bugs, and it's just, this video that he does is just really great resource for you to use. But just this part here alone has helped tremendously on our ability to water and keep it going. Well, that's it for this episode. So thank you for watching the video. The questions and comments below are greatly appreciated. And if you have any tips for me as a brown-thumbed gardener, I would love to hear it. And if you have any suggestions on other videos you would like to see, whether it be on gardening, chickens, or anything that's in the kitchen, just let me know in the comments below and we'll see what we can do. Please follow us on Facebook at The Family Baker Arvada. Please share us with your friends. We really appreciate that. And if you go to familybaker.com, under the video link, you will see other videos that we have posted.